A lot of people overlook push-ups as just some basic old exercise, but there's a reason why the classics are sometimes the best. So today, let's get into it. The push-up is a great compound exercise that recruits a lot of muscles to work your overall upper body pushing strength. It also requires no equipment, so anyone can do them anywhere. When a lot of people think of push-ups, they think their elbows should be out at 90 degrees, forming a T shape. In reality, you should be somewhere in the 30 to 45 degree range. Just pick whatever feels comfortable for you. When doing push-ups, you won't want your hips to be sticking up in the air like this, or sagging down low to the ground like this. What you want to do is try to keep your body straight. You'll engage your core muscles to maintain this position throughout the push-up. If you're not strong enough to do regular push-ups yet, then knee push-ups are a great option to build up your strength. Knee push-ups are just like regular push-ups, except you do them on your knees. Having your fulcrum having a shorter lever length means you're pushing less resistance. You're still working the same muscles, but with lighter load. This will allow you to build up those muscles' strength until you can do regular push-ups. Another progression between knee push-ups and regular push-ups is doing push-ups on an elevated surface like a chair or a counter. Obviously, the higher the counter or the chair, the easier it'll be. The lower and closer you get to horizontal, the harder it'll be, and the closer it'll be to doing a regular push-up. I personally prefer doing my push-ups with my knuckles. The reason I do this is because it allows me to maintain a straight, strong wrist position. Right, traditional push-ups on your palms apply a lot of compressive pressure on your wrist, and when I was doing a lot of them, it was giving me some discomfort. So I switched to knuckle push-ups, and that went away. If you don't feel good doing knuckle push-ups, it's uncomfortable, it hurts, you could always use push-up handles. Push-up handles will allow you to maintain that straight, neutral, strong wrist position. In addition, having your hands elevated will allow you to get into a little bit of a deficit, which will help you create more stretch in that chest. And studies have shown that resistance in the stretch are more conducive to hypertrophy. So the benefits are straight, less pressure on your wrist, and a better stretch, greater range of motion to build that chest. On the other side of the spectrum, let's say push-ups are getting too easy for you. You're easily cranking out sets of 30 plus, and you want more of a challenge. Well, there are a lot of ways to increase the intensity of your push-ups. One of the easiest ones is to elevate your feet. What elevating your feet does is it puts more of your weight forward, so you're actually pushing more weight than you did when your feet were on the ground. In addition, the angle change will make it so that you're focusing a little bit more on your upper pecs. If you notice the path of travel of my elbow, it's more slightly upward sweeping relative to my torso, now that my feet are elevated. As mentioned earlier, deficit push-ups are also a great way to up your intensity. It gives you a big, deep stretch and a greater range of motion to give your chest a more challenging exercise than regular normal push-ups. I didn't explain earlier, but deficit basically means just being able to drop below that normal range of motion you would normally be able to get on regular push-ups, which is why I elevated myself on these kettlebells. You could do it with 2 benches, stacks of books, chairs, anything that can allow your hands to go up off the ground and for you to lower your chest lower than what ground level would be if you were doing regular floor push-ups. Another way to add more intensity and challenge to your push-ups is you can make them a ballistic motion. An example of that would be clapping push-ups. Another great progression, if you have the equipment, are ring push-ups. Ring push-ups will add instability, which means your core will have to work a lot harder to maintain your posture while doing the push-ups. In addition, your rotator cuffs will be strengthened in order to maintain your shoulder stability throughout the exercise. It'll also allow you to get a great stretch, just like the deficit push-up. Another way to make your push-ups more challenging is to add load, like a weighted vest, or if you have a sturdy backpack and a lot of heavy books, that'll work too. That covers normal push-up. But here's a little bonus that I'm starting to add to my own push-ups that I picked up from calisthenics guys, and that's scapular protraction. What scapular protraction is rounding your shoulders forward. So what that looks like in the side view is this. What this does is this adds some work to your serratus anterior muscles. Those are the finger muscles up in your ribs here, and those are what pull your scapula forward. In practice, what that looks like is you go down in a normal push-up, but when you come up, you round your shoulders forward. So round your shoulders forward. This is just the scapular protraction motion, so you can see it isolated. Now, that's not required to get the regular benefits of the push-up, i.e. pecs, anterior delts, and triceps. But if you want to get a little bonus, get those serratus muscles going, then it's a great little add-on to your push-ups. Now, while the push-up is generally thought of as a chest exercise, it does work your triceps and anterior delts as well. Changing your hand placement can make it more of an anterior delt and tricep exercise. So having your hands further out in the typical angle will be more of a chest adduction exercise, which is going to focus your pecs. If you bring your elbows and hands down and closer to your body, this angle will make it more of an anterior delt and tricep exercise. Why that is you no longer get that adduction as much. What you have is you have your anterior delt working to push your upper arm forward and your tricep working to extend the arm. So having your elbows close to your sides or your hands together like a diamond even will make it more of an anterior delt and tricep focused exercise. So tricep, anterior delt focused push-ups are basically the same thing, but I'll demonstrate anyway. Only difference is your hand position. And all the same progressions apply. You can do them on your knees to build up to them. You can do ballistic clapping ones. You can do deficit ones. All those variations of the regular push-up work as well for your tricep anterior delt focused push-up. 3 sets, 3 days a week is probably a good starting point. Do as many as you can per set, so that's 2 failure or very close. And make sure you're resting at least 3 minutes, even longer is okay between sets. Wait till you feel pretty recovered before doing your next set. Don't go crazy and rest like half an hour or something, but 3 to 5 minutes is just fine. If you hit a point where you start cranking out 30 plus push-ups pretty comfortably, you feel like it's not a challenge, you need more, that's when you can start putting in some of the more difficult progressions we discussed. Like keeping your feet up high elevated, doing deficit push-ups, weighted push-ups, or ballistic clapping push-ups. And don't juggle a whole bunch of those all in randomly. Pick one, progress at that. When you get good at that or feel too comfortable with that and need more, then you pick a different one and progress at that. Don't do deficit push-ups one day and the next day clapping push-ups, then the next day inclined push-ups. That's going to just jumble everything up. You want to be able to track it and you want to be able to progress. So do one at a time, progress at it, then shift to the next one. Doing push-ups isn't any different for your muscles than doing free weights. You're using your body weight instead of barbells or dumbbells, but the resistance is still the same that your muscles are experiencing. So if you need a rest between weight training days with free weights, you need a rest between push-up days as well. At least give yourself a day, if not more, to rest between. If you're doing your sets and you feel like you're not recovered, you can't do as many as you did before, you're feeling worn out or tired, it's probably a sign that you need more rest and you're not fully recovered. And that wraps up this video on push-ups. If you watched it all the way through and made it to this point, you're great. I really appreciate it. I would appreciate it even more if you could like and subscribe if you found any of this information useful. Leave a comment below with your favorite push-up routine or your favorite push-up variation. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks, guys.